This is a public service announcement for anyone who may be offended by the contents of this episode, because I will offend you. This show is not about me. This show is all about you. This is Mahdi on Unfiltered.
Respect. We see respect in a different light. Some people see respect as earned status because of who they are, what they are, how much wealth they have in the bank, or what family or stature they come from. But the reality is respect is earned, it's not given. And in our society today, I think there's a big misconception of what is respect, status, and just being polite. Now, we have a mutual respect, which is when we're polite to someone, that's just a mutual respect that every human gives another human. But we also have status respect. And what I mean by status respect, and we see this a lot, especially in this culture, which is when someone pulls up in a Bentley and demands respect versus earning that respect. Now, most people will respect you if you pull up in a Bentley, but are they really respecting you? Or is it just them giving you that status quo of I'm the man showing up in the Bentley and everyone is going to get in line to shake my hand or get a handout or get a tip or whatnot. Now, some people may see that as pompous. Some people may see that as arrogant. Some people may see that as saying, yes, he deserves respect for where he's gotten to in life. But personally, my personal opinion on respect is it's earned. And by that, I mean, some people will earn their respect in the classroom by being the smartest student. Some people will earn their respect by being the hardest worker, but they just may fall short of being above average. They might just be average, but they work harder than everybody else on the team or in the company. Personally, going back to when I was a child, long time ago, I always worked harder than most people, especially when it came to sports. I always wanted to try and win and be the best. And in my eyes, I was the best because of how much effort I put into the sports that I was playing. Whether it was kickball, whether it was butts up on the wall, basketball, baseball, soccer, you name it. I always tried to be the first one on the field, the last one off the field, the guy that was kicking the ball into the empty net before the game started to try and figure out what position to put my foot in or how to kick the ball on the side, the left, the right. What can I do to make myself better so that I'm not just average, I'm a little above average. Luckily, that panned out for me a lot of the time. I remember a long time ago, I was last picked. I think it was in a basketball game. And that really kind of destroyed my ego in a way by saying to myself, shoot, I was the last one picked. No one wants to be the last one picked. I don't care who you are. That's just the reality of it. But after that, the guys on the court saw how hard I worked during the game. And I was buzzing up and down the court, trying to, do whatever I could to disrupt the other team. And then the next time around, I was picked third amongst the group. The two best guys were picked, then they picked me because I just knew how to cause a ruckus mostly and just get in people's ways and steal the ball. And I was a scrapper, especially in basketball. Baseball was a little different. I had a little bit of talent in baseball, but in order to make it to that different level, which I never made it to, realistically, I always had to work a lot harder than most baseball players. I was shorter. I was 5'7". I was the chunkier kid on the field, and that always played to a disadvantage. However, the funny thing is usually almost on every team that I was on growing up, I was always picked as the captain. Mainly because the guys respected me. I may not have been the best player on the team, but they respected the effort that I put into the game. They respected the way I carried myself on the field. They respected that I wore my emotions on my sleeve sometimes. They respected me as a player because of how hard I worked and how much I had achieved by being average, maybe below average. And that went a long way when it came to baseball and people who knew me. Even into my adult years, when they were trying to put together a Kuwait Olympic baseball team, I was the man gathering all the guys together. The guys looked at me and asked me questions And it wasn't because I was the best player. I mean, realistically, there were better players than me, younger players that were better. But I had a certain level of respect that I had gained from these guys over the years, over the long years. It took a lot of hard work to gain that respect and earn that respect from people. And I think that is the biggest misconception in our society today, is that respect is something that is earned. Motherfucker, when you step on my court, you earn your respect. You don't just get it given to you. That's how it rolls. And right now, I think there is a big cloud of smoke in that atmosphere when it comes to respect. And I'm going to use something that I'm very familiar with, which is CrossFit as an example, or functional fitness, or strongman, or powerlifting, you name it. Everyone knows who Matthew Frazier is of CrossFit. He's like the pinnacle of any athlete. Everyone knows who Wayne Gretzky is in hockey. Everyone knows who Pedro Martinez is in baseball, greatest pitcher probably who ever lived. Everyone knows who Messi is. Everyone knows who these guys are. And they were the greatest. They were the best in their sport. Now, how they got there, some of us don't know. You know, we see our clippets, and Matthew Frazier was a guy who worked extremely hard to get to that point. It wasn't just God-given talent that was given to him. No, he actually put in the work. So he gained my respect. I mean, I respect him as an athlete. I just kind of don't like him as the poster boy for, you know, CrossFit or whatever else, but that's my opinion. And Wayne Gretzky, I respected him on the ice because he was the greatest hockey player to ever live. Whether he gambled on hockey or he didn't gamble on hockey, I mean, that's something that goes down. It's like Pete Rose. He'll never get into the Baseball Hall of Fame because he gambled on his own team. And I know there are a lot of people that are going to say, no, it's not true, whatever, but he did. There was proof of it. He lost the respect of Major League Baseball. That's why he will never get into the Hall of Fame. He disrespected the game of baseball in its entirety by betting on his own team. Now, what happens there? You lose all respect from one sect, and you can't do anything about it. He never will. But the point that I'm trying to get to is when we look at these high-level athletes, or we look at athletes in general, if you look at the trainer in your gym or the guy in your gym that can't bench press more than 100 pounds, but what if his perceived effort is 100% every time and you see how hard he pushes, how hard he works? Shouldn't he get your respect as an athlete and a fellow gym goer who is trying their ass off versus the guy who is doing steroids? Now we're talking here, because the guy doing steroids, he's just like the guy driving up in a Bentley, except his body's a Bentley. And all of a sudden he walks into a room, you think he gains respect, but mainly it's probably fear. Or it could be, wow, look at his body, he must be really cool. But in reality, he could be extremely disrespectful. It's one thing to see it, and then it's another thing to actually believe it and give that respect to someone else. And I want you to think about that next time you're driving, or next time someone walks into a room, you have that mutual respect. And then an hour later or 2 hours later, did they actually earn your respect as a human being? Did they meet the standards that you have for perceived effort in sport or in life? Because a lot of the times we'll see guys, well, I mean, I saw this growing up where, you know, if someone gets into a fight, oh, he disrespected me. He disrespected me. Okay, but did he respect you in the first place to disrespect you? Because again, respect is earned. It's not given. And it pisses me off that people think that they just miraculously get respect from everybody. It's a given thing. You just get respect because that's how life rolls. No, that's not how life rolls. And I can tell you, I'm proof of that. I earned respect. You can earn it. Or you can try and just take it when you walk into a room. But in reality, when you ask yourself in the mirror, do these people really like me? Do they really respect me? That's the important thing. But when it comes down to it, and I think we hear this a lot growing up, is do you respect yourself? And I think that's the most important question when we look at everything that I'm saying right now, is do you respect yourself enough to place values on your own standards and self-worth versus everybody else? Now you're saying I'm placing standards on other people, but you're placing standards on yourself in your own respect, because that is the key right there. People these days don't have enough self-respect to actually respect others in life. It's a goddamn shame. It's something that really pisses me off because personally, I have a lot of self-respect in terms of my work ethic. And when I'm at the gym or when I'm at work or whatever it is I do in my daily life, I try to have a level of self-respect for myself to create high standards that I go by, even on days where I'm not feeling it or days I'm not feeling good. And you know what? It sucks when you're not feeling good and you feel like you disrespected yourself in some way and you can't look yourself in the mirror. But when you actually have respect for others that have earned it, like the trash man that picks up your trash every night, do you respect him or do you look down because he's a trash man? Do you look down on your garbage man because he's a garbage man and he's not a doctor? Would you give him more respect if he was a doctor? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Personally, I've grown up around people that work extremely hard, and I know how hard garbage men work. And a lot of them gain my respect because it destroys your body 7 hours. You're jumping on and off a truck, loading other people's trash in there. That's a tough job. It's a tough thing to do every day. And it goes back to the street cleaner. He's the one who's cleaning the street. You're not. He should be respected for doing that job that most likely you or someone you know has contributed to. And we see that a lot here, especially. You know, you'll see the street cleaners, they're cleaning, and there's a level of respect that should be given to all of these people that make our society exist and exist well, like a well-engined machine. If we don't respect the people who are cleaning up our trash, what self-respect do we have in the end?
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Thank You, and join us next time.